it really is. It really is a deeply personal thing. We can't go out and try to get other people to heal. We have to heal ourselves. We have to talk to the people that we talk to every day. We have to bring that kindness and that compassion into everything that we do, because there is no macro. Like the macro is the micro. You know, the tiny things that we do in talking to our sons and our daughters and our cousins and our loved ones. That is the work of healing. And I'm not sure there's anything left after that, but you know, check back in 20 years. Please.
So my name is Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
I work at HubSpot. There's a couple of HubSpotters here.
That's true.
My first job was at Accenture. And you're like mirroring a whole bunch of stuff, which is creeping me out.
I'm so sorry.
The first time I said I loved you, my dad was this month as well. So that's weird.
Congratulations.
I'm trying to figure out how I feel like I'm like on a path of like figuring out how to like self-heal and all these things. And ironically enough, I feel like the things that are stopping me from being able to do that is helping other people. So I feel like I'm consistently, every time I learn a little bit of something, I take a whole bunch of steps back because I take that and then like help a whole bunch of people, and then I find myself like spiraling down into like I'm not taking care of myself again. And it just happens like all the time, and like right now at this like very moment, I feel like I wasn't gonna come to this. Like you came to HubSpot and spoke, I didn't go to that because I knew you had answers and I didn't want to hear answers. And now I'm hearing them, and now I know I want to go home and be like, all right, now I got to work on this and think about that, and do like this, the 12-step process that doesn't exist, and I got to go try and figure it out, read some books or whatever, and then inevitably I'll probably pick up the phone, try and help somebody else, or call my dad who's struggling with his own life, or call my mom or whatever. And then I won't be able to focus on myself, because that's what continuously happens with people. I feel as though like yourself or myself. So I'm wondering if you have any tips or some ideas on how to be able to actually focus on yourself and heal yourself, so then you can really help other people. But first and foremost, yourself.
Thank you for your question. Slow down. I love you. You have everything that you need. I mean it. You have everything that you need. The narrative that we have about the kinds of people that we are dictates the life that we live. After I left Cambridge a couple years ago and moved back to Jacksonville, where I'm from, to figure out my next steps, I was literally writing on my walls some of my goals for the year. Those things came true. 2016, the good parts, were very much an embodiment of the things that I said I wanted to do. I don't know all the quantum physics around the power of speaking things into existence. But what I do know is that my daily affirmation practice has transformed my life. When I remind myself that I am smart and capable and loved and safe, and I'm addressing these needs that I have before going out into the world and getting swept up in these patterns, when I remind myself and I affirm myself and I win the day before I even leave my home, the rest is, it takes care of itself. And so I really mean it when I say you have everything that you need, because a lot of these activities you're going through and that you're describing around helping other people and coming back home, that's simply a narrative. But if you wake up every morning and you say, I'm the kind of person who takes care of myself, and you say that and you mean it, that will become true. There's no step two. That is the only hard part. And there's a part of you inside, probably a scared 8-year-old, that desperately needs to feel that he is safe and that it's okay. and that it's okay to slow down. So I'm gonna leave you alone because I see some stuff coming up for you that I need to. But that's my story, man. I literally write down the things I want to be true about myself, and I am daily amazed at the power of visualizing success. I made my train to Boston this morning with about 90 seconds to spare. When I was on the subway, I visualized myself making the train. I'm not kidding. I visualized myself successfully making that train. And previously, I dealt with such anxiety that the sound of a train coming would just be insta-sweat. Like I was drowning in shame and anxiety for no reason whatsoever. Nobody knew. And this process of growth and learning and healing has opened up this world where I can literally have 11, 12 calls and meetings, and I feel so alive. I've never been happier. Sometimes I am overwhelmed with how good my life is. Nothing has demonstrably changed externally, except for everything, but I have built the life that I want simply by speaking it. And so the work isn't a 12-step program. The work is getting alone with yourself and figuring out what you need. And I guarantee you, brother, you have what you need. So we can chat separately, and I mean that. I'm putting together a series of black male wellness and healing workshops because, we got to do this work. We need to see that it's okay to talk about mindfulness and body movement and affirmation and connection, and really interrogate these notions of homophobia and misogyny that we have in our bodies and in our minds that have been passed to us. This stuff is killing us. It's breaking up our families. We are finding it hard to date, to work, to love ourselves, to just get through the day. And I have so much more, I can get along with some fairly terrible human beings now that I'm so much comfortable in myself, because it's nothing. I'm good. You can have some of my goodness. So we can talk. I got a lot of learnings from the field, and I'm very proud of you. I mean it. Yes, ma'am.
What do you think was your hardest part of 2016?
Back to this question.
They really want the dirt.
Yeah, I think the hardest part of 2016 was slowing down and figuring out what was actually important. Because we think that success is tied to having a certain amount of money, but we know for a fact that money doesn't make us happy. And so, finding out, what makes us happy and slowing down and enjoying, in my case, cheap Dominican food in Harlem every day. That brings me so much joy. Being able to walk around the corner and hear several different languages spoken, seeing how beautiful my people are, how much beauty there is in the story of us being okay with ourselves, and not, judging the music that I don't understand in this Snapchat generation. And I used to, I'll give you an example. I used to be on the subways and not understand why people would have their, blasting their music and be in a trance. A lot of people are trying to drown out some painful things that they hear in their heads. A lot of people grow up hearing things that nobody should have to hear and seeing things that nobody should have to see. And we don't have anything better than headphones and loud music. So that's okay. And I've learned to have compassion and kindness for people whose journey is different from mine. Because just because I grew up socialized in a way that makes me want to act a certain way around people who look like me or don't look like me doesn't make me any better than somebody who's getting through the day the best they know how. And so opening myself up to that compassion has just made me a better person. So I probably said a lot of words that don't make a lot of sense to you, but I'm so grateful for your questions, and I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
Can you tell us how you came up with the name for your magazine?
It just sounded good. How many of you know who Reverend Ralph David Abernathy was? Ralph Abernathy was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s best friend and right-hand man. He was instrumental in some of the most important civil rights legislation there was. Without Ralph Abernathy, there would have been no civil rights movement. In the last speech that Dr. King gave, he started his talk, I wrote about this today on my blog, he started the talk by thanking Reverend Abernathy, saying he was his best friend in the world. And the reason more of us don't know about Reverend Abernathy is because he told the truth in his memoir about how Dr. King had other women on the side. And it's a metaphor for something that maybe we don't know that we should. And I was going to name it the Rosewood Project. How many of you know about you know? How many of y'all know about Rosewood, Florida? Rosewood, Florida, was a city of free blacks who had it going on. They had their own economy. They had skilled workers. They had things that their white counterparts wanted. There was an accusation, as there always is, sexual assault, somebody raped somebody, something. Some good old boys came over, shot the dog, shot the wife, all hell broke loose. That city was razed to the ground. The army had to come in and get black folks out of the swamp from hiding. The city was burned to the ground and it was never re-inhabited. And there's just something beautiful about the word Rosewood, and I'm from Florida, so I wanted to kind of reclaim that. But starting a story about a dog getting shot is now I want to go about this, so I went with Abernathy.